Guys, what is that spinning around in front of you? Well, that's the off-grid knife Scorpion, and this knife is a lot of fun. I've had it here longer than it should have been because I was being selfish and I didn't get around to reviewing it. So let's take a look at this great knife from above. All right, guys. Well, this is the off-grid knife Scorpion, and I'm pretty pleased with the fact that we're looking at this again. So just a little backstory. I had this knife. I can't remember if I talked about it in intro. I filmed it a while ago, earlier today. But I had this knife come in for another video one time, and I didn't really do a full review of it because I wasn't that impressed with it. It was just here for a comparison. So this is the off-grid knife Scorpion, and there's going to be a couple spec sheets, so they'll filter through because I just couldn't find one that pinned everything in that I wanted. So yeah, this is a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying this knife. There's a reason why it's been in my pocket so long, and it has spent a lot of time in pocket. So let's go ahead and get size comparison out of the way. Your first knife's going to be the Recomended Horizon D, which it's in pocket today. So that's just convenient. So I just pulled it out of my pocket. As you can see, it's a little bit bigger than the Recomended Horizon D, probably about half, 3/4 of an inch. And this is not a small knife. So next knife for comparison is going to be the Benchmade 940. And I apologize for all the dogs barking because I can't do anything about it. Like, I've been waiting and waiting. I don't know what's going on out there. A Benchmade 940. So you can see it's a good bit longer than the Benchmade 940. And just dimensionally, it's a lot bigger. So, and as always, your final knife is going to be the Chris Reeves Sebenza Large 21, and as you can hear, the dogs have stopped barking. So yeah, this is not a small knife by any long stretch of the imagination. This is a fairly large knife. You can see here against the Sebenza Large 21, which is a good-sized average EDC. So let's get this out of the way, and let's talk about this knife. So this thing came to me. Now, I don't know if there's been a change from the version that I saw first, but I do know that this does not seem to be the same knife. I mean, it's the same knife. It just seems a little different than the one I had first. So what are we looking at here? DLC and stonewashed, a light stonewash M390 blade that is ground so well. I love how this is ground and how well it cuts. Comes down to a nice, super nice behind the edge thickness. It does have a blade shape that is kind of reminiscent of the 940. That's why we threw it in. You can see it's very reminiscent blade shape-wise to the Benchmade 940. Nice piercing tip on this. Grind on the spine and everything is nice and consistent. And then comes back to these titanium scales that have been done with shredded carbon fiber and copper covered hardware, DLC coated pocket clip and frame. This thing is a lot of fun. Now, I will say, we'll talk about it later, there are some downsides to this knife, but this thing so far has been amazing. In hand, it is so comfortable. It melts in hand. Now, Elliot Williamson didn't like the aesthetic of this knife, but he was like, yeah, that is pretty comfortable. I find this knife attractive. I like the lines on it. I definitely like the color combo on this. This is a limited version of this. So the spec sheet you guys are looking at is not going to be the same, and I won't be able to give you guys a purchase link for this, but I will put a purchase link down below. But jimping on this, really good jimping, solid jimping, done really well. It's aggressive. You don't slip on it at all, and they use the same jimping but a little softer on the flipper tab. So at least their priorities are right. That's not sharp and hot. This is great. This thing, it feels so good in hand like that. Pocket clip on it is a nice deep carry pocket clip that is far enough back on this large knife that it doesn't cause a hot spot at all. It has carried so well. I've been carrying this in my waistband for a while. And it seems to sit really well there. Jeans, track pants, does not matter. Access to the lock bar is just about perfect. They have not made it too thin that it feels weird, but they've also scalloped this out a little bit, made it a little bit lower, and then opened that up so it does not feel as tight as it actually is. Because if you look, that is very close in there, but the little bit of things that they've done have just made it really good. Action on this. Listen to it. This thing sounds, it just sounds so good. Drop shut on that. No real hiccups here. You can just barely feel where these inlays sit. And if you're into reversible pocket clips, it has one. And like I said, this pocket clip does not move too much. You got to really push hard. So they've done so many things so well on this. Removable hardware to protect the holes when you flip it if you want. And like I said, all the hardware has been done in kind of the same fashion with that copper look to it to match the inlays. So all in all, that's a lot of good stuff. So there are just a couple of minor things that I don't like about the knife. So let's go ahead and flip this around and talk about the negatives. All right, not a lot of negative going on here at all. The only couple things I can really say, first and foremost, this knife would have been so much lighter if they had just went ahead. I know they did the inlays, but had they went ahead and found a way to do a little bit of weight reduction on the inside as well, maybe make these go all the way through like we saw on a couple knives, like the CMB made knives Night, where these were completely through and it made that knife very, very light. So it would have been way heavier if they had not done inlays, but I think they could have gotten away with a little bit more weight reduction in this. Next thing, this is one of those knives that absolutely, because the pocket clip is so close on this, it pushes material in, and when you're putting it in your pocket, it will catch that lip and your pants will, like, it'll catch on your pants. Coming out of pocket, not a problem, but going in pocket, it's kind of a little hiccup. And then just one of the only other little critiques I have is I don't like this. It really doesn't give you anything in the way of grip. It is a little tactile, but like in that part of your hand, you really don't feel it. It's not like it's a hot spot or anything. I've said it so many times, I'm not a fan of jimping. And then when it's done as just an aesthetic, I don't dig it. If this was going to be functional jimping, I could say put it here. If you wanted for reverse grip, which you can kind of feel it, but then you would need to mill out the areas on the back spacer. So that's pretty much everything I've got on it. There's not a lot of negative things to say about this. It has cut really well. The DLC, I thought that we had scratched it up a little bit, and then when I cleaned this up to do the video, everything that I thought was scratches was simply just residue that was on the blade. So like I said, I'm going to put a purchase link to the available versions of this down below if you're interested in it. But this is a great knife, and I don't know what's different now than it was when I saw this the first time, when Winston Cabrady sent this in for one of these in, and we compared it to the Sub-Zero Deca, Scorpion versus Sub-Zero. So, but all in all, I'm pretty impressed with this, pretty happy with the carry. I finally just had to get around to doing this. I got to send stuff back to Jared, and I'm like, I need to do the final on this. I was being selfish, and I was just carrying this just because I enjoyed it. So, all right, guys, that's it. Let's turn this around, and we'll do some final thoughts. So there you go, guys. The off-grid knife Scorpion. I have really enjoyed having this here. Like I said, I don't know what it was about seeing it the first time that I didn't like. I don't understand why I didn't like it. I do, though, remember, I think that the one I saw was thicker behind the edge, and I think that might have been what it was. So big shout out to my subscriber, Raymond, for sending me this Inigo Montoya Dread Pirate Roberts Prepare to Die shirt, one of my favorite movies of all time. So yeah, that's pretty much it on this one, guys. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down. Please tell me why. I can't change the content if you don't tell me what you don't like. If you want to support the channel, it's as simple as like, share, subscribe, drop a comment, hit the bell icon. If you do hit the bell icon, make sure that you've got notifications turned on your device, and make sure you hit that bell and set it to all. Just remember, guys, likes are the best thing that you can do for any channel. If you're watching a channel you like and you enjoy their content, if you watch their videos for more than 30 seconds and you haven't dropped a like, then you're probably doing that channel a disservice. It helps push those channels up the algorithm, and it shows YouTube that you guys value the content that creators are working so hard on. If you want to support the channel financially, I have a ton of affiliate links down below. I will put a link to the current version of this knife in the description below so you can purchase if you want to. And Coffee Brand Coffee, one of my favorite affiliates, 5% off your overall order if you use my coupon code CrazySharp, all one word, all caps, or use the affiliate link itself. If you want to support the channel another way, I do have a membership that is all tier based. All members have access to my gilded server, which is just like Discord. Baseline and premium tier members are automatically entered into the giveaways that I do on the gilded server. And the premium tier members have access to a sharpening tutorial series here on YouTube that's behind that paywall. Guys, that's it on this one. I love y'all. Keep it clean in the comment section and make sure that your comment gets seen. And it makes it easier for me to moderate the channel, technically, to tell you the truth. If it's your birthday, happy birthday, and I'll see you in the next video.